All right, let's talk about something that trips up so many leaders, the huge difference between just being busy and actually being productive. Today, we're going to show you how to get off that hamster wheel for good and start building something that really lasts. Let's get right into it.
So let me ask you a question, and be honest. After a long, 60-hour work week, do you feel truly accomplished, or do you just feel completely drained? You know, we live in this culture of what you might call performative exhaustion, where having a crazy, jam-packed schedule is worn like a badge of honor. But is all that activity actually moving the needle?
So let's get into the psychology of why we fall into this trap. And here's the thing, it's not some personal failing. It's actually a feature of how our brains are wired. We're often busy by default, not by design.
I mean, this quote just hits the nail on the head, right? So many leaders end their weeks totally burned out, wondering why they feel so stuck, why growth is stalled out. It's because all their activity wasn't really aligned with progress. It was just motion.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. There's actual science behind these bad habits. It's called the mere urgency effect. See, our brains just crave the feeling of completion. So we choose to answer that urgent $10 email instead of planning the really important $1,000 strategy session. Why? Because that email gives us a quick, satisfying little dopamine hit. We feel productive even when we're really not.
So, what's the real cost of giving in to this little brain glitch? Well, it's not just about feeling overwhelmed. It has a real, tangible financial impact on your business. Let's quantify it. Let's just break this down. On one side, you've got the low-value $10 tasks, right? The admin work, the scheduling, trying to manage that overflowing inbox. On the other side, you have the $1,000 tasks, the things that actually grow the business. We're talking big deals, innovation, strategy. Now, be really honest with yourself. Where are you really spending most of your day?
And look, this isn't just a theory. Perry Marshall's research on this is pretty stark. 80% of an entrepreneur's time is often spent on the work that provides the absolute least value. I mean, think about that for a second. You are the most valuable person in your company, and you're effectively paying yourself $10 an hour for most of the day. It's wild.
Let's put a hard number to this, because this is where it gets painful. Just 5 hours a week. That's only 1 hour a day, spent on that $10 admin stuff. Well, that can cost you over $124,000 a year in lost opportunity. That right there is the real, hidden cost of being busy.
Okay, so how do we fix this? It all starts with data, not just feelings. You need to stop feeling busy and start seeing exactly where your precious time and energy are going. It's time for a calendar audit.
And here is the exact blueprint. It's a simple 3-step process. For 1 week, just track everything you do with brutal honesty. And don't just write down emails, get specific. Then go back and assign a dollar value to each task. Was this a $10 support ticket or a $1,000 growth strategy? Finally, you just do the math and calculate your waste ratio.
Now, when you do this audit, the results might actually shock you. Harvard Business Review found that the average executive spends a whopping 41% of their time on this low-value work. The goal for truly effective, high-growth leaders? Get that number under 20%. That's the zone where the real magic happens. And just to make this crystal clear, here are a few examples from different industries. The principle is always the same. On the left, you've got tasks that are necessary, sure, but they can and absolutely should be delegated. On the right, you've got those high-leverage activities that only the leader, only you, can really do.
Okay, so identifying the waste is half the battle. Now let's talk about the system for actually fixing it. This is how you build a funnel to reclaim your most valuable time, piece by piece. This right here is Rory Vaden's focus funnel, and it's a total game changer. For every single task on your plate, you ask 3 simple questions. First, can this be eliminated? If it can, just stop doing it. Second, can it be automated? Use technology. And finally, for anything that's left over that's necessary but still low value, you move to the most critical step of all. You delegate it, ideally to a skilled virtual assistant.
Now, the biggest objection I always hear is, but I don't have the time to train someone. Let's just demolish that excuse right now with some simple math. It's called the 30x rule. You should be willing to invest 30 times the daily duration of a task to train someone else to do it. So for a simple 5-minute daily task, that's a one-time training investment of 2.5 hours. The return on that tiny investment? You get back over 20 hours every single year. The math is just undeniable. It's a no-brainer. You have to understand that this is about so much more than just time management. This is about fundamentally transforming your role from being a worker in your business to being the architect of your business.
And this right here is the end goal. This is what it's all about. You stop being the busiest employee in your own company and you become the architect of its future. You move from doing all the work to designing the systems that do the work for you. That is what true executive leverage looks like.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a really hard look at your schedule this week. Are you the one in control, strategically building your vision? Or are you just a slave to the urgent, constantly reacting to whatever your calendar throws at you? The choice, and the opportunity cost that comes with it, is all yours.